Welcome to Ecclesia Principles, a biblical strategy for believers to engage in God's design for government with Ray Eppard.
Hello, glad you could join us again today. We're continuing to talk about building the bridge of trust. And this week we're talking about things that are a requirement to actually build trust or restore trust. Now, our text for this principle, and there's a lot of other verses that will apply, but I particularly love these two. Proverbs 18:19. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city. And that verse is not talking about some manipulative, I'm offended type of thing. It's talking about where there's actually been true hurt, true offense. Something was done, it offended. That person, it's harder to win them than a strong city. So we want to avoid those types of situations because the Apostle Paul talked about the fact that, none of us lives to ourselves or dies to ourselves. In other words, we're not an island off over to the side that functions independently of everyone else. No, we have to have human relations, and with that, there has to be we have to build a bridge of trust with those that we interact with. Then Matthew 24:12, and because lawlessness will abound, the love of many will grow cold. And again, if you would think about the word lawlessness there, of being violating the laws of human interaction. It's bigger than that, but for the sake of what we're talking about, God established humanity to function a certain way. And when you read the Bible, well, let me just give you an example. If somebody lies to you, the next time they're talking to you about doing something or participating in something, your level of trust will be lower. Why? Because they lied to you. If you lie, it diminishes trust. That is a law of human interaction. Now, we've been told everybody has their own truth, and largely that has been designed so that people can lie. Hello, glad you could join us again today. This week we're finishing up on building the bridge of trust. Trust ultimately is what holds all relationships together. If trust is gone from any type of relationship, co-worker, family, society, then everything kind of blows up at that point if trust is destroyed. Trust is what holds all relationships together. Now, with this, our texts have been Proverbs 18:19, a brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city. And then also Matthew 24:12, and because lawlessness will abound, the love of many will grow cold. And again, as we've stated, that if you would think of that lawlessness as the idea of breaking the laws of human interaction. You see, right now, there are so many parts of our society that are breaking the laws of human interaction. There are people that are just, there are whole groups that are just lying, providing false information, and at the same time going, trust me. No, that is not, it doesn't work that way. You can't lie and be trusted. The bottom line is that you have to prove that you're trustworthy. You can treat people respectfully because of who you are, but you can't trust people without them earning it. Trust has to be earned. Respect can be given. There are people that I wouldn't trust them as far as I could throw them. But I can treat them respectfully, not because of who they are, but because of who I am and how I believe I should live my life and how I should function. That I can give respect. I can treat them respectfully, but doesn't mean I trust them. Doesn't mean I'm going to give them the opportunity for a lot of things. I won't. Some of them I wouldn't give them the opportunity for anything. But then, there are people in my life that they actually do work at our house at different occasions, and I've given them a key. They've got a key, and sometimes one say, "Hey, I need to get this done." Well, will anybody be home? Just use your key, and because I trust them, I have a trust with them. It's been established. It's been built. But there are other people that I would be there if they were working in my house. I would be present, or I would make sure someone was present. You can treat people respectfully as a gift, but trust has to be earned. That is a law of human interaction. If you try to give trust, you're probably going to get hurt. You're probably going to have something bad happen, because the bottom line is that person hasn't earned the trust. I mean, there are possible exceptions, but by and large, especially if you've been hurt in the past and you just give that trust again, you're probably going to get hurt again. Trust has to be built. That's why we're talking about building a bridge of trust. And if you would, talking about the bridge reaching over a chasm, a canyon, or over a river, that bridge actually has to be built both ways. It has to be built from both sides. If we're going to fix the problems of our society, one side cannot make all the movement. One side cannot make all the movement. Both sides have to make movement. But in this, the hard work of building trust has to be done. We started talking about that, acknowledging that there are things that we don't recognize how it affects the other side, how it affects the other person. That there's things that we don't know. We haven't had all their experiences. We don't have necessarily the same background and so forth. There are differences, and something that I would think would be fine and I would be okay with it might have an entirely different message with the other person. We used a marital relationship in this example. Many a man has done things that he thought would be really good, but it sent the wrong message to the wife. Probably one of the biggest and simplest violations of all of that is, a guy getting his wife a like a vacuum cleaner or a dishwasher for an anniversary or something, where she at that point wanted something more personal, something about her. Well, he was doing it because he wanted to make her life easier, to make her life better. Not that the intent was bad, but the bottom line is, at that point, what her expectations were is not what he met. He didn't intend anything badly. He actually had good thoughts in mind, but the action did not hit the target. The bridges missed. There's movement from both sides, but they missed. But with that, we have to understand, we need to hear from the other side. We need to hear from people. One of the biggest things that we have to understand in order to build a bridge of trust, we have to sit down and talk to people that we disagree with. We have to sit down and talk to people that don't think like we do. Because the thing of it is, here's the crazy thing. We might agree on 80% of the stuff. It's just that 20% or that 10% that we disagree with. Now, there are some people we would disagree 90% with. I understand that. But the way you build a bridge of trust is by beginning to talk about the things that you can agree on. And then, well, why do you feel this way about that? Like the husband, I was trying to make your life better getting you a dishwasher. I didn't want you to have to, be over the sink and all that what did I do wrong? Well, I wanted something more personal. I wanted something about me. This is our anniversary. This is about us. It's not about work. Beginning to have that dialogue to understand. And with that, once it happens, then we have to be able to recognize, hey, okay, not what I intended, but I understand when I did this, this is how you felt. This is what it said to you. We begin there with that acknowledgement. And with that, we need to talk about how we can fix it. How we can fix it. Because in this, if you would, again, using the marital illustration, the husband doesn't need to fix his intent. He wants his wife's life better. He wants to be a blessing to her. He doesn't need to fix that. And if you would, there's a standpoint there. It isn't just that he needs to acknowledge, oh, that was a bad move, buying you that. She also needs to acknowledge, I understand this, your intentions were good. Your intention, because there has to be an understanding of the value of both sides. This is kind of where we ended up yesterday. The other person matters. It's not, you're wrong, you're horrible, oh, you awful thing. No, there has to be an understanding from both sides. The bridge has to be built from both sides. But you can't do that if you don't talk, if you don't have communication. If it's just, we're too much today in our society about proving how everybody else is wrong that doesn't think like us. That doesn't help build the bridge of trust. It actually just increases the division. And I'll throw this in while we're here, because you see, with this, I do firmly believe, small group of people, I'm talking about right now, small group of people, but there's a group of people that want our nation divided. They want Republicans and Democrats at each other's throats. They want whites and blacks opposed to each other. They want the business owners and the employees to be opposed to each other. The success of their agenda is based on their ability to divide our nation. And so they are looking to bring division in every way that they can. It's been happening for decades now, and it's being fueled. And you see, with that, if we're going to counter their agenda, where they're trying to sow discord and division, we have to work to build a bridge of trust. Because the way you destroy a nation, and maybe this is a better way to put it, that a lot of people understand what I'm talking about, but the way to destroy a nation is, actually I read a book one time, and it said there's 3 ways to destroy the economy of a nation. And first, they said, was civil war, internal division. The second way was corruption in government. And then number 3, it was actually aid, supplying aid. And this, I'll be honest with you, I'm trying to remember the name of the author, but I think the title of the book is called Aid to Trade. And what they were talking about was the nation of Haiti, and that third world countries are often destroyed because of aid that is given to them in a crisis. that aid actually does more to destroy their economy than to help them. And right now, in our nation, we've kind of got those three things going on. We've got division among almost every sector of our society. We've got corruption in government, and we are giving money away. The three things that can destroy an economy, we're doing it. The bottom line, if we're going to turn that around, we have to build a bridge of trust. We have to, those who we can sit down with and have a conversation with, we have to do what we can to have that happen. Because if we don't, we can't fix it. Because the only way you can fix it is to sit down and go, okay, this is what's happened. How do we fix this? I need this. What do you need? This group needs this. What does your group need? Let's begin to talk about this. Let's find a way to connect the two sides of the canyon, the two sides of the chasm. Let's build a bridge of trust. How do we do this? Again, I do firmly believe there are enemies of America that are trying to divide us, increasing corruption, and giving free money away to destroy our economy. We have to begin to build a bridge of trust. God bless you. See you tomorrow.